Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to this beautiful morning. I'm Carrie Waring-Gully, Chair of the Arapahoe County Board of Commissioners. We're going to get started, and I'd like to ask that if you're in line for food, which it looks like everybody's getting seated here, we're going to pause for a moment and stand for the Sheriff's Honor Guard while they post the colors. Now, as we do at the beginning of every meeting, will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What an amazing way to start our morning. Thank you so much to the Sheriff's Office and to the Honor Guard. Let's get started with our program, and please feel free to continue eating as we go along with our program today. We have a lot of very special VIPs in the room today, and we'd like to acknowledge a few of them. First of all, my colleagues, Commissioner Jessica Campbell-Swanson, District 2. Commissioner Jeff Baker, District 3. Commissioner Leslie Summey, District 4. Commissioner Bill Holen, District 5. Some colleagues that join us in so much of the amazing work we do at the county. The Assessor P.K. Kaiser. Clerk and Recorder Joan Lopez. Coroner Dr. Kelly Lear. Sheriff Tyler Brown, Treasurer Michael Westerberg. We actually also have a lot of our mayors and city council partners here today. So will you please stand if you're in the room, and other elected officials, school board members, special district elected folks, please stand and join us in our welcoming you. Our room is full of partners in so many different ways. In the audience, we also have many of our economic development partners, our cultural and educational partners, nonprofit friends, business leaders, small business owners, and residents. We welcome you all and thank you for being here today. Yes. Last year was our very first State of the County address, and we heard from many of you that you really appreciated the strategic updates, and especially our look forward to the work that we're doing in the future. So much of our work and the work of government in general is rooted in the future, or at least the anticipation of our future. The programs we create, the laws we pass, they're designed to meet the needs of our residents in the here and now, but also looking forward 10 or 30 years down the road. We do things in full expectation that they will come to fruition in the future. Things like land use, looking at our waters and our water studies, and elections. They're all so important to our future. And like last year at this very State of the County, we kicked off an economic development campaign called Where Good Things Grow, and it's been very successful. As we pause today to look at where we are as a county, that theme seems very timely and continues to be appropriate. Good things are growing in Arapahoe County. We have a fertile foundation that has yielded an amazing bounty of successes. And we want to make sure that the county remains that way for future generations. That's why it's so important to proactively weed out those challenges and to continue cultivating all of the opportunities that we see ahead. So in the spirit this morning of that theme, we'll share some of the things that we have harvested this year, as well as some of the items that we are tending to, and some of the things that we are planting and seeds that we are planting for our future. We'll also introduce you to some of our local business owners, community leaders, and entrepreneurs through a few video vignettes of where good things grow. It takes a lot to put on a big event like this, as many of you in this room know, which is why we're so grateful for the support of many people, but mostly to our presenting sponsor, Xcel Energy. So I would like to ask and welcome to the stage Community and Local Affairs Manager, Liz Gardner.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, and good morning to everybody, and welcome to the Arapahoe County State of the County. This event, as Commissioner mentioned, gives us the opportunity to reflect on the successes of the last year and look towards opportunities for even greater collaboration in the county for the future. As Xcel Energy continues to lead the clean energy transition in Colorado, we work closely with our elected officials, our regulators, businesses, communities, and our customers to ensure that we keep a balance between reliability and affordability. Our 1.6 million electric and 1.5 million natural gas residential and business customers rely on us to be there 24/7 with safe, reliable, and cleaner electricity and natural gas. We were the first major U.S. energy provider to announce a comprehensive clean energy vision with aggressive goals to cut carbon across the economy, from electricity to heating to transportation. We are working hard to pursue our plans to meet those goals, as well as the state's. We've also taken steps to protect our customers from the volatile fuel prices and increased risk from climate change. All of this while maintaining world-class reliability, something I think oftentimes we all take for granted. New this year, and expanding quickly throughout the state, we launched our Red Truck Initiative to be more deeply rooted in our communities, in your communities, and to ensure that our customers know about and can access utility assistance programs should they need them. So keep an eye out for the Xcel Energy Red Truck throughout events in Arapahoe County this year. We are always looking toward the future. The future we're focusing on right now is well past 2030. When Xcel announced a few years ago now that we were going to deliver carbon-free electricity to all of our customers by 2050, we admitted that technology advancements were critical and, to be honest, weren't fully developed at the time. Happy to report that we have made some bold steps, even just recently, towards these technologies. In April, in partnership with the state of Colorado, we submitted an application for a hydrogen hub to the Department of Energy, what would be the first of its kind here in Colorado. In May, we announced the installation of an iron-air long-term battery storage system at our soon-to-be-retired Comanche Power Plant in Pueblo, which will ultimately provide up to 100 hours of long-duration storage for renewable energy generation, something that's critical to hitting our 2050 milestone. We are currently permitting and soon to be building a $1.8 billion transmission project, including hopefully a segment in Arapahoe County, to bring clean energy from rural parts of our state to urban centers such as the county, while also and kind of simultaneously bringing on new substations to meet the growing demand in places like Arapahoe County. These projects will improve our state's electric grid reliability and enable future renewable energy developments to serve your growing community. And finally, just a few weeks ago, we filed our transportation electrification plan to the Colorado PUC, which aims to accelerate the pace of EV adoption and align with our state's 2030 goals by supporting equity and access to the benefits of electric transportation for all of our customers. Our proposal, should it be approved by the PUC, will expand programs for public charging, charging at homes, businesses, multifamily locations, key community public charging, and access to electric vehicles for our income-qualified customers. We have been really, really proud to partner with Arapahoe County over the last several months and several municipal partners who I know are in this room to plan and draft the county's first EV action plan, which is in its final stages of development. At Xcel, we have 3 key priorities that we are always trying to balance: leading the clean energy transition, continuing our best-in-class reliability, and keeping customer bills low. Those outcomes certainly do not come easily. They happen because we work every day, hand in hand with partners in this room today to try to achieve them. We are only successful because of our partnerships. We greatly appreciate each of you that are here today, and in particular, our Arapahoe County Commissioners and the staff. Thank you for letting us be a part of this special event and for your partnership going forward. Thanks and enjoy the breakfast.
Come up, yeah.
As a kid, I always dreamed of owning a ranch and raising cattle. Arapahoe County turned out to be a beautiful place to do just that. But it wasn't just cattle I dreamed of raising. I always wanted a family. And I've been fortunate enough to raise 8 kids right here on this ranch. Watching my kids and grandkids get to spend time on this land has been more than I could have hoped for.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeff Baker, Arapahoe County Commissioner for District 3. This morning, we'd like to start by talking a little bit about the past, about 2022. What can we say about 2022? I can think of a few words. For Arapahoe County, however, 2022 was a year of transition. We were coming out of the pandemic, and our big focus was still on the economy. In 21, we planted a lot of seeds using our one-time federal funding from the American Rescue Plan Act. And a lot of those programs began to bear fruit the following year, in 2022. Our eviction clinic pilot program, for example, helped 317 families remain housed. We also provided critical and timely mental health access to students in both Byers School District and Cherry Creek School District. Now, those are just 2 examples. You're going to hear a lot more today about all of the seeds that were planted and that are blooming now. One of our biggest projects last year was the creation of the Public Health Department. We knew that Tri-County Health Department was dissolving, and we knew that we had 1 year to plan and build and set up a new public health department in 1 year. As we've done for years, we budgeted smartly for this project. We set aside funds in 2022 so that we could begin the official process of buying and leasing equipment and also hiring very passionate employees. This year-long project took an immense amount of time and staff effort and stakeholder work, coordination with our fellow counties and with all of the folks that have come to rely on the Public Health Department. And let me tell you, they delivered. On January 3rd, we opened the doors to Arapahoe County Public Health. 180 new employees, new to the county, providing critical services that our residents and businesses have come to expect. You'll have an opportunity to help further define the work of this new department as they create a public health improvement plan over the next year or so. It's one small step to improve community health, and you can learn more about that on our website. The board and I would specifically like to thank the Arapahoe County Transitional Board of Health for their coordination and dedicated service in launching the department. Thank you. As the county continued to transition out of the pandemic, we could still see that many of our vulnerable neighbors were still struggling. Commissioner Summey, would you like to talk about some of the ways that we've supported those vulnerable populations?
Absolutely. One of the most important things we do is keeping kids, families, and vulnerable adults safe. Our human services staff builds strong communities by promoting the safety, independence, and stability of individuals and families. And this is already some tough work, but when you factor in a pandemic and all the stressors that were placed on families, the workload increased immeasurably. As they always do, our staff stepped up to the challenge of serving thousands of additional clients, many of whom had never needed public assistance, and they did it with compassion and grace. They helped people feel good about where they were and helped them get the benefits that they need. And you know what? They did that on time. The Community and Child Support Services Division met 100% of the state's timeliness measures for public assistance applications, and we are the only large county to meet every timeliness measure every month for the entire year. Because helping others is what we do best. That's why one of the first things that came up when the county began discussing our one-time federal funding was how to use it to keep people in their homes. Arapahoe County has one of the highest eviction rates in the state, and that is not a title we want to keep. When our neighbors struggled to make rent, we stepped in and distributed more than $23 million in emergency rental assistance. More than 3,800 families were able to stay in their homes because of this assistance. And we also provided 367 businesses with $12 million, providing critical relief to keep them in their storefronts and to support the local economic recovery. When I think about how the county can help support our residents, especially in the area of housing, I think about our regulatory role. Of course we do. It's important that county rules and regulations are reflective of our community values and best practices. That's why we updated our land development code to reduce planning application fees for affordable housing projects. We now also permit smaller residential unit sizes and allow accessory dwelling units in most residential districts. I think that's pretty doggone cool. But I have one more update to share that I'm really excited about. That is our Cheyenne Arapahoe Park. We just completed an expansion of this park that originally opened in the 90s. The open spaces crew added many new amenities. We have a new playground, a new community garden, and that's in collaboration with Denver Urban Gardens. This is in my district, so I'm very excited about it. There are new picnic shelters, walking trails, and more. And we have a new off-leash dog park. So people and dogs are excited about that. This park project is just one success story from the county's open spaces program, an example of what can be accomplished when we have a regular, dedicated funding source. The open space sales and use tax allows us to acquire, build, and maintain these popular amenities for our residents. Our grand reopening celebration was rained out, so I hope that all of you will be able to join us next Friday, June 16th at 1:30 to open this park in style. I went and sat in front of it the other day and looked at the slide and said, can I get down that thing? It's very cool. You need to come out. So that was a lot to cover. So let's learn more about another one of our Where Good Things Grow ambassadors.
We've always loved gelato, not just as a treat, but as a passion. That's why we invented Hip Hops, a one-of-a-kind gelato popsicle creation. Arapahoe County has really welcomed us, and in return, we've been able to share our passion. We've developed an especially strong relationship with the school system through fundraising events while bringing smiles to faces. It's a place where we can build a business and improve the community. That's what makes Arapahoe County so unique.
So now we'd like to start to talk a little bit about what we're currently working on. While we're still focused on the recovery from the global pandemic, this year we're moving full steam ahead to address many of the complex issues facing Arapahoe County, our residents, and many of the partners that are sitting in this room today. Today you're going to hear us talk a lot about the American Rescue Act plan that provided a lot of one-time funding for the pandemic and its recovery. ARPA has been a lifeline for the county and for many of our residents and our strategic partners. We wanted to be strategic with these one-time funds to make sure that the county could address critical infrastructure projects and some pilot programs that, but for this funding, would never really have been able to happen. So first, let's talk about the GOALS program, and that stands for Generational Opportunities to Achieve Long-Term Success. It's a program that's helping end the cycle of poverty and housing instability for families experiencing homelessness. We provide the program in partnership with Family Tree. Now, last year, we broke ground on a new $2 million early childhood education center in Aurora that will serve clients in the residential program and the surrounding community around our GOALS program. We committed $1.2 million of our ARPA dollars to the Early Childhood Center on the Oxford Vista campus. We did this because the GOALS program recently completed an evaluation of its first cohort, and the results were amazing. On the first year, participants' measurable numbers had full-time employment, and almost half reported being able to save a little bit of money each month. Almost 3/4 of the people that participated in the GOALS program reported their child's performance in school was great or good. And 70% believed that their ability to get health care and mental health treatment was great or good as well. We are seeing generational poverty stopped in its tracks, and we're seeing people heal and strive for themselves. Another of our ARPA projects, many of us in this room and in a room together last week, and that is the Ready to Work Center in Inglewood, and it is part of our homelessness toolbox. In total, we've actually allocated more than $23 million in funding for homelessness and homeless-related projects with capital improvements planned all across the county. Our goal is to support both immediate and long-term efforts. Of those appropriations, we actually appropriated and approved $1 million for the Ready to Work Bridge House project. Bridge House offers adults experiencing homelessness a continuum of services that spans from basic needs such as housing, work. It also has a robust program with access to paid work and other supportive services. We were impressed with Ready to Work's evidence-based approach that is really seeing success. The Aurora and Boulder locations have a high graduation rate to mainstream employment and housing. They also have an 85% one-year retention rate. Those are really staggering numbers, and realize that this is a program that lasts for a year. It is an investment of a year in helping a person become the best that they can. These are staggering numbers, and we're thrilled to see the program take root on the west side of the county. You're hearing a lot of effort on our homelessness efforts today, and that's on purpose. Homelessness is a challenge that we made a commitment to tackle regionally with all of you in this room. We planted the seed and created a homelessness coordinating committee and sprinkled that committee with a lot of ARPA dollars, and we're seeing a lot of success. We've partnered with Tri-Cities, that's Sheridan, Inglewood, and Littleton, and the City of Centennial to fund dedicated staff to municipal needs, but under the county umbrella and the work of this homelessness coordinating committee. Again, if it were not for these one-time dollars, the county would be unable to convene that committee and to coordinate this type of important work. We're seeing results, which is why continuing these efforts is so important. As Commissioner Summy mentioned, our Open Spaces program is seeing some big capital breakthrough on the ground. One of those is actually in your district, isn't it, Commissioner Campbell-Swanson?
Yes, it is. And that's the Dove Valley Regional Park, which is an invaluable asset for residents across the county already, but we're making improvements. This $18 million, 14-month project will be completed in the spring of 2024, and it increases recreational opportunities and services, including a new athletic field, new street access, additional parking, new shade pavilion, and multi-use community lawn. A dog park and skate park will be built on the 40 acres to the east of the existing fields, and the second phase of the project will include a lighted championship field with artificial turf for our water friends, and built-in seating and shade structure restrooms and concession building and additional youth fields. I think it's pretty amazing. I'm pretty excited about that. So I hope the time that our residents are not able to use the park to its full extent are excited about the outcome of that. One of the other more visible things we've worked on as a board in the last few months is revising our oil and gas rules. We're incorporating new industry standards and measures of accountability to help make sure resource development is done in the most responsible and protective manner possible. The initial draft of rules is available for public comment through the end of June, and we invite you all to come learn more at our open house here at the fairgrounds on June 21st. For those of you who like oil and gas rules and regs, you can find more information online. Now, changing pace a little bit, some of you might not know that our county's jail is the largest mental health provider in the county. And it's also one of our most glaring examples of aging infrastructure. While we've implemented several repairs and stopgap measures over the past few years, the physical facilities remain in various states of disrepair. It is important and critical that we provide quality medical and behavioral health care to those individuals in our custody. And that's why we took the opportunity to upgrade the medical area using, you guessed it, one-time ARPA funding. While this doesn't solve all of the jail's aging infrastructure problems, it does create 37 new beds for medical and behavioral observation. This will improve our level of care, thereby reducing the negative impacts of detention on those struggling with physical and behavioral health issues, as we're able to give them the care they need and deserve. We expect the construction to begin later this year. Another piece of work that our county does is maintaining roads and bridges, which is a core function of the county. In fact, our Public Works Department maintains more than $1.26 billion, with a B, in roads, bridges, and other assets. And we just released the county's first infrastructure scorecard. And I will be honest with you, friends, the results are a little sobering. Bottom line, while we have the only nationally accredited county public works department in the state, the maintenance budget has not kept up with the pace of inflation or needs and growth. 40% of our roads are in poor or very poor condition, and it's critical to reverse this trend, not just for the safety and convenience of our residents and our vehicles, but also because well-maintained assets result in less maintenance and money saved over time. When a road or bridge deteriorates to a poor condition, it costs 10 times more to repair it than it would have if it was maintained properly in the first place. If you want to know more about our roads and bridges, you can see our scorecard online on the website. And there's a lot to learn. Our county has more than $500 million in backlog in deferred maintenance and capital projects throughout the county. That does not reflect the important projects needed to stay current with the growth that has occurred and will continue to do so over the next decades. The county's current revenue stream can't address this backlog, and we need to find new ways to address and improve and maintain these critical projects.
Thank you, Commissioner Campbell-Swanson, sorry.
We look a lot alike.
I know you do. Commissioner Holen, you're a proud U.S. Army vet. And in fact, I want to point out that we have 3 vets up here on stage. Commissioner Baker and Holen are Army veterans, and Commissioner Summey is a veteran of the U.S. Navy. We thank you for your dedication and service to our community and in serving in this new way in our community. We really appreciate it. So Commissioner Holen, can you give us an update on our veteran services, please?
Thank you, Commissioner. We have an incredible veteran service program that's operating in 2 important locations, Littleton and Aurora. These folks provide no-cost services to make sure that veterans have access to their benefits, and they shepherd them through that difficult and complicated process. This is a mandated county service, yet we only receive $30,000 from the state to support our operations. Because we have the second largest concentration of veterans within the state, the need for service support is significant. About 3 years ago, we were able to add another veteran service office, thanks to partnership with Arapahoe County, with Adams County, and with the city of Aurora. Today, our veterans officers are carrying the caseload of more than 12,000 veterans, resulting in a 7-week backlog. This is a direct result of additional federal mandates and growing need for support of our veterans. I'm hoping we can work with our elected officials in Washington to increase our funding for these offices so that we may provide a safer and faster service. One last item I think I'd like to share is our renewed relationship with the Northern Arapahoe tribe. As you can tell by the name of our county, we have really, Arapahoe County is sitting on former tribal lands. Last year, right after the state of the county, we signed a historic agreement with the tribe to formalize our relationship. And later in the summer, many of us traveled to the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming. We got to learn more about the tribal membership, their community, and the lasting impact of the Sand Creek Massacre, which took hundreds of their tribal members several generations ago, and they still suffer from that terrible massacre. We were struck by this sense of family, history, and the traditions, and we are honored to have been their guests. We have a lot more work ahead of us, and I think the important recognition of our Native American populations is very important for all of us. We're meeting regularly with the Northern Arapahoe Business Council and have laid out some ways we can support one another through cultural exchange, education work, and even a book club. Let's meet another of our Where Good Things Grow ambassadors.
Forte Fruits has been providing fresh produce to the people of Arapahoe County. As a small business, people know us and trust us to provide the food for their loved ones. We are lucky to have loyal customers who support us and to keep coming back year after year. It's what makes this place special.
You can see that we've had a very bountiful year, but we still really have a lot of work ahead of us. So I've asked my colleagues here to share some of the work ahead of us that we're excited about and that feeds their passions. I would like to start with a few of my projects, if you don't mind. We know that many of our residents are still struggling. The long-term effects of the pandemic have been brutal on our emotional, mental, and physical well-being. As a county, we want to ensure that everyone has access to the things they need to live better lives. That's why the board also pledged $5 million in those ARPA dollars to fund a new building, a new crisis and acute care center at Aurora Mental Health and Recovery. This project fills, yes. I see our partners in the back. This project fills a measurable gap in our mental health network, and it really would not be possible without our dollars from ARPA. We're also keenly aware and interested in helping formerly incarcerated individuals reestablish their lives and become successful community members. That's why we're working with the Second Chance Center to reduce recidivism and provide a comprehensive approach to address issues such as substance abuse disorder, violence, trauma, and socioeconomic factors. And we're deepening that commitment to individuals involved in the justice system by partnering with Brothers Redevelopment to establish a supportive housing project, an idea that was brought from and born from our Justice Coordinating Committee and our Behavioral Mental Health Subcommittee.
If I can jump in here with passions, I want to talk about the need for affordable housing. We know that housing is a chief concern for our residents, and affordability is absolutely key when it comes to housing. And look, Arapahoe County has one of the most diverse housing stocks in the state, from dense suburban areas with townhomes and apartments to established neighborhoods and transit-oriented development. We've got it all, including more than 108,000 units ready to be built in Arapahoe County today. Even still, 1 in 3 of our residents pays more than 30% of their income towards housing, making them cost burden. And 50% of them are spending 50% or more of their income on housing, making them severely cost burden. We are fully cognizant of the housing crisis, and we are taking action. Our planning division staff are diving deeper into zoning options to bring forth development code changes that will support more affordable housing options. These changes will establish mixed use and multifamily zone districts. They'll streamline the planned unit development process for affordable housing projects and create incentives for affordable housing and transit-oriented development. Changes will also expand the use of modular and manufactured homes. And housing isn't just about affordability. Arapahoe County is thinking holistically about development and smart growth. The county is about to begin a housing study that will evaluate our current housing environment, identify gaps, and look for opportunities and provide recommendations to inform future decisions. We're also underway with a year-long water study that will help us plan for current and future needs. And we are looking at how the findings of both these studies and projected growth will impact our transportation master plan as we look at alternative modes of transportation. And you may have heard us talking a lot about this over the last couple months, especially during the legislative session. And that's because creating housing and advancing smart growth is a priority in the county. We appreciate the state's focus on these connected pieces, and we look forward to working with our legislative and city partners to identify meaningful solutions that further outcomes towards our shared goals of affordability and smart growth.
Thanks, Commissioner Campbell-Swanson. And Commissioner Summey, I know that you have a real passion for safety and equity. So can you please share with us some of your thoughts on passions around this work?
Would love to. One of the immediate things that comes to mind is our work with the Regional Opioid Council, who this week is reviewing proposals from community organizations to help curb the opioid crisis. So you may know that the county and our municipalities are taking a regional approach to the opioid crisis, and we're optimistic that these efforts can create real change for recovery. I am very honored to serve on this council with Commissioner Holen, who's been an advocate in this space for years. And I know that by working together, we'll make some important investments to address the crisis in our community. So switching gears just a little bit, we are also progressing in our equity, diversity, and inclusion work. We're beginning to implement a plan to deepen our commitment both internally and externally. We just hired a new manager who's working to get a better understanding of our current state and what actions are needed to take our efforts to the next level. And this work will also provide a roadmap of how the county can further extend this EDI work into the diverse communities we all serve. For example, one area of opportunity is addressing racial equity issues within the criminal justice system based on data provided by our district attorney and our criminal justice analysts. Later, we're going to host an event in the summer to hear and understand people's involvement with the criminal justice system and the actions that the community would like to see to ensure equality and fairness. And I'm excited about making this meaningful change in this important area, and I am grateful to my colleagues for elevating the issue.
Thank you, Commissioner Summey. I want to really add a note here that none of this work would be possible without the important relationships that we have with our stakeholders that are sitting in this room today. Relationship building is very important to our board, and we've really tried to be purposeful about our approach and that collaboration. Whether it's helping to craft legislation with our partners in the State House, or advocating on behalf of cities and towns, engaging with our educational and nonprofit partners, we know that partnerships make everything work better. And we really cannot underscore that a collaborative approach is important to us. So I want to give you a round of applause and say thank you. We've shared quite a bit with you this morning, and we're almost done. But first, we'd like you to meet another of where our Good Things Grow ambassadors.
A hospital that is invested in its community works to promote health and wellness beyond its walls. At Craig Hospital, we're putting time, money, and energy back into our community, rising to healthcare challenges and serving marginalized populations. As part of Arapahoe County, we strive to do more than treat the people who come through our doors. We endeavor to be stewards, creating a happier, healthier, more inclusive Arapahoe County.
So this morning, you've heard a lot about our use of one time, ARPA funding. And there's a reason why we're stressing that. Those funds are running out. And although we've been able to do some amazing things and shepherd our community through COVID, almost all of the programs we've highlighted today are at risk of going away. We're at a point where those funds running out, we need to make some tough decisions on where and how to apply our very limited budget. Arapahoe County is very proud of our long record of responsible budget development, management, and stewardship. This is a testament to the hard work and dedication of all county employees who know how to stretch a dollar into $1.50. But current revenues will make it very challenging for us to meet the needs of our community. Our growth projection is 800,000 people by the year 2030. Essential services like public safety, human services, mental health programs, and road maintenance are at risk. To reach our vision for Arapahoe County, we have to stabilize our funding sources and modernize our finances.
What does this mean, to modernize our finances? Well, it means that we have a substantial funding crisis. Arapahoe County's general fund is almost entirely reliant on property taxes for providing all services. You might not know that we owe only about $430 from an average tax bill to provide everything from repairing county roads to protecting most vulnerable residents and providing public safety and motor vehicle services. We've almost done more with less, as these have been, there have been no vote approval tax increases since 1995, despite increasing costs.
Yeah, that's right. And these TABOR restrictions limit our ability to do what we need to do on a daily basis, much less address the growing backlog of infrastructure repairs. The county's infrastructure action plan, which focuses on maintaining existing infrastructure, is historically underfunded by $15 million a year. Current funding levels cannot readily address this infrastructure improvements that we need and that are necessary to keep up with our population growth. And as we've said all morning, we've used emergency, one-time federal funds to provide critical services over the past year. And this has helped us through a rough time, but it is not sustainable.
In the coming months, commissioners will consider various options to help address this funding challenge. Our goal is to identify solutions that allow us to meet our current demands and plan for our future while ensuring we maintain an excellent quality of life. Our Open Spaces program, funded by the county's only sales tax, is a model for how we can do this with a dedicated funding source. We will evaluate all of our options, including the potential to ask voters to remove the revenue cap of TABOR, commonly known as debrucing. Here's why. Of Colorado's 64 counties, 51 of them have debruced, including our neighbor to the north, Adams, and our neighbor to the south, Douglas. I just want a pregnant pause there so y'all can hear that. Just all kinds of counties have debruced. Your input is critical as we evaluate these options and determine a path. So we do want to hear from you. We've already begun engaging our residents on this topic at our town hall just a few weeks ago. So there were a lot of questions and discussion there, but we have a lot more to do, and we need to do it with you.
That is absolutely true, and there certainly is a lot more to come. So I would like to thank the commissioners for having this discussion. I would also like to take a moment now to thank the folks that made this happen. As you all know, you've put on these types of events. It is very difficult and incredibly time intensive, and we have an amazing staff that has put in hundreds of hours to make this happen. So please join me in thanking them. And I would like to just close out with a few final thoughts. Arapahoe County is a strong county. We have strong residents. We have strong municipalities. We have strong relationships. We are strong because of you and the work that we do together. All of you in this room and everybody watching online makes Arapahoe County the success that it is today. So together we've created an environment that supports another, each one, nourishes our most precious, and cultivates a rich future for us. And we can say that definitively because good things grow in Arapahoe County. So thank you. I need to learn to pause there. We hope you learned something new today, and we encourage you to visit our website for our 2022 annual report that was just published this week. There's a lot of great information there, and we encourage you to check it out and to ask us questions. We value our relationship with you all. We look forward to a great summer, and we hope to see you at the Arapahoe County Fair, July 27th through the 30th, right here. Thanks for coming.